Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me for today's Lunch and Learn. I'm Keith Armour. I'm the Education Homework Support Manager down here in the Adult Learning Center at the main library. Today's Lunch and Learn is going to be talking about the upcoming holiday, which is Monday, for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We are usually typically open, but starting this year, we're going to be closed in honor of Dr. King. And we want to make sure that you realize all of the different resources that the library has, and a couple of things that are very special just for the library, but also throughout the community when it comes to celebrating the legacy of Dr. King. So let's go ahead and switch out and let me show you some library events, and then I'll show you some events that are happening around the community as well. All right, thanks. All right, we've arrived at our website, cincinnatilibrary.org. Last week, I did highlight this really quickly, a look back at the year of progress with our facility master plan. A lot of people behind the scenes working on that. And a great video that I shared last week is here. And also, don't forget there's continuing to listen and engage with the community. And the next time is actually next month, February the 16th. And that's going to be information right there. So, and that more than likely is going to be another virtual event. So stay tuned to that. We'll definitely check that out. I also do want to point out that next week, because it's Martin Luther King Day, Junior Day, we are going to be closed. All library locations will be closed, and we'll reopen up on Tuesday, January the 19th. Just to remind everyone that our meal program for all ages are at these branches, and that's usually Mondays, but we're going to actually do that on Tuesday next week at 3. And then, of course, our meal boxes for youth, that's going to be next Tuesday as well. Over 200,000 meals and snacks were given out last year. So if you need, or if you know someone in need, please make sure you direct them to our libraries. The way you find that information is going over here to the main page, going over to services, and right under where it says families, you'll see free meals, and you'll come right to the page that I was just showing you. Okay, so definitely check that out. And don't forget, our library is closed next Monday to commemorate Dr. King's holiday. And we want to make sure that everyone knows that our meal program is still going on, but it will be distributed on Tuesday. Now, another thing that's on our front page of our website is vaccine updates. You just scroll down, and if you click right here on vaccine updates, you can get the latest information, the frequently asked questions. You click there, and it will take you directly to the Ohio Department of Health, and they're constantly updating these frequently asked questions. The last update was January the 5th, and so these are some really good questions. All you have to do is click, and then you'll see the answer. And then they'll also provide you some fact-based information as well. Now, if I go back to our vaccine page, just go back here, there's also a hotline that they have that's free. It's 1-833, and that's a 1-800 number. And that is available from 9 in the morning until 8 every day. And that's brought to you by the Ohio Department of Health, and that's their call center. There's this nice large version that you just click on to see the rollout of the phase 1A of the vaccinations. And then they are asking you to possibly register for vaccination distribution. And of course, we're providing some testing for COVID, but you can always check that information out here. There's also fact-based library resources and links that I want to point to, and that's right here. And if you click onto that, You'll see some materials that were collected that is in our collection. There's 15 items here. That's streaming video about vaccination benefits and the world of infectious diseases. And then there's some children's books too, because children have questions about all of this all the time. So we provided you with some books that might possibly come in handy. And so you'll know a little bit about some materials that are right there just a click away. And there's also information from the CDC and then Medline Plus about vaccinations too. So definitely check that out. That is on our homepage, on our homepage right here. Click on our homepage and then scroll down. It's right there under vaccine updates. All right, we are now going to come back up and we're going to actually click right here and we're going to put in Dr. Martin Luther King, and we don't even have to type in the whole thing, because his whole name, because we're going to, it already comes up, and then we're going to do a little search. Now, right now it's showing 54 results. We actually have more than that in the collection. However, this is a list of different materials, and you'll notice that you have the books over here. We have 34 books, 10 ebooks, 2 picture books, 1 large book in this collection of 54. There's some audiobooks, some downloadable audiobooks, and some streaming audiobooks as well, and also DVDs and streaming video. You'll wonder, what is the LP? Well, if I click on just LP and music CD, we're going to pick on both, we'll see there's 2 music selections. Mahalia Jackson sings the best loved hymns of Dr. Martin Luther King. You can place a hold on that. That's actually an LP. That's an album for all of the young people out there. It's a big disc, very fragile, but we have that in our collections. You can place a hold on that. And then, of course, the soul of the movement. That's Meditations on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That's in our collection as well. So make sure you check that out. I do want to point out a couple of other areas that you can look for different materials. Let's look at, let's take these off and let us look at the DVDs and the streaming videos. So we're going to click on here and here. And you'll notice that here is a historical perspective on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and that's a DVD that you can place hold on. There is a streaming video, and I am going to show you Canopy in a while, and tell you a little bit about Canopy and what's there. There's also Martin's Big Words, that's a DVD, and also March On, which is a DVD as well. Okay, so that's some streaming material. Okay. So now I'm going to take you to, I'm going to go to Browse, and right here where it says Stream and Download, click right there. And we're going to first go to Libby. And Libby and Overdrive are the same thing, but some people like the Libby app over the Overdrive app, but either one that you click on when you're looking at the browser, it will get to that collection. So if I click on Overdrive, now this is the adult section because my default for my account is for adults, and I'm going to show you the kids selection in just a moment. But if I scroll down here, here's a whole collection of material from Libby and Overdrive, and it's MLK Day. And I can see all of them by clicking here or clicking here. And right here, 63 more materials. And don't forget about Claretta Scott King, the wonderful wife of Dr. Martin. She had such a great contribution as well to the civil rights that are ready to be downloaded. You can see they're available This whole collection right here for MLK Day is totally available for anyone that wants to take a look at them. I do want to point out this right here is a graphic novel by John Lewis. Sadly, John Lewis we lost last year into 2020, but this is a graphic novel that talks about the march, this march in Selma for the right to vote. And so you might not just focus on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but also might want to focus on other people that contributed and continue to contribute to the civil rights movement. So there's a whole bunch of materials here. Like I said, there's 63. And don't forget, all you need to do is, well, let's look at March, for instance. And there's 3 books that go with March. And they're very good. I learned a great deal when I read all of them last year. And don't forget, you click on it, you can borrow it right away. You can also read a little bit more about the march. This is the March on Washington, and then also his experience on the bridge in Selma, Alabama. So really good, and you just borrow it, and then you can look at it on any type of device, either a computer or also on a mobile device as well. So you can check that out. So that's 63 materials that are just in that one special collection for MLK Day on Libby Overdrive. Now, if I want to click over here to kids, I can look at the kids selection of books, and I do want you to point out this selection of materials. It's called Kindness Matters, and that's a great way to commemorate MLK Day, is also to talk about kindness with children, and you can see that entire collection. There's 165 books that deal with kindness and taking care of each other. So definitely check that out. And then the other one that I want to point out is this really great collection that's right down here. It is called the Black Joy Book List for Children and Young Adults. And this is a great collection of books that you want to check out that would be perfect for any time, but definitely during Martin Luther King Day. And then, of course, there's other books down here, too, that you want to check out. All right. Now, we're going to go to another area of the streaming and download. Let me get out of there, go here. We're going to look at Hoopla. And Hoopla doesn't have a huge collection, but we're going to look there really quickly. And we're just going to type in up here where it says everything. We're going to type in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and hit search. And there's 3 things that are right there for everyone to check out. There's a musical that was written several years ago, the Selma album. It's a musical. This is My Daddy, Dr. Martin Luther King, by his son. And then this is Thank You, Dr. Martin Luther King. That's totally available. And those are audiobooks you can download right away. And everybody can definitely listen to those. Definitely check that out. The other thing I want to point out when it comes to streaming and download is one more down here, and that's Canopy. Let me go to browser Canopy. And you'll notice that you get certain credits, but if I type in right up here in the search bar, Dr. Martin Luther King, and I'm going to click down here where it says in features, and there is that, that streaming service. Now, if I just type in here, Dr. Martin Luther King, and hit search, I should have said Junior, there are some other things on here as well. So there's not only that first one, which is a historical perspective on Dr. King Jr.'s work, but also some other things on here as well. There's a kid video, there's a video for kids, and then there's also all of these other ones as well that are here. So definitely check that out. There's actually in this collection, there's 3 pages. Didn't tell me how many were in here, but there is a whole selection of different ones, and also with different perspectives too. This is from James Baldwin, a very great documentary that was out several years ago, and that's just a click away. Byron Reston, he was one of the architects of putting together the March on Washington and lining up the speakers. You can check that out. And then the other people that are on here as well, okay? And there's also Eyes on the Prize, which was a great series on PBS. So definitely check that out. Now, I am going to go back here, and one thing that I want to point out is you don't see 2 collections because I am still under the adult section of our website. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click by audience. So this is, my audience is an adult. I'm an adult, not all the time, but then I'm going to click on kids and family. And you'll notice that the front page changes a little bit different. You'll see some events that are happening. There's our wonderful story times from some of our, all of our wonderful children's librarians are here. And this is actually a Spanish story time. And then they also have some staff picks of books as well. Well, one thing I want to point out to you is right towards the very bottom. And if you click right here, you've got Tumble Books and you've got Bookflix. If I click on Bookflix, it's a collection of all sorts of great videos, and we're going to click on People and Places.
People and Places.
Pick on that. You can see there's Claretta Scott King. There's a video and a book for Claretta Scott King and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We just click on that. You'll see the video, and it opens up in its own little window. And it's from Scholastic, so you know the quality is good, the research has been done, and it's great. If I click on Read the Book, this is going to be available anytime. You just have to click into Bookflix. This is a rookie reader that will go over why we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And each word that is yellow, you can hear a definition.
Leader, a person who guides others.
And of course, there's a read along feature too, so it can read along with your child as well. So I'm going to go back to the main page.
Click on a category.
Go to People and Places again. And there's Martin's Big Words. That's a video there for him. And then, of course, a different book about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Okay. So you can check those out as well. So definitely do that. Now we're going to switch to one of the big events, and that is this virtual program. Now, one thing that I have seen many times that is just, it just is really very uplifting, and this is Martin's dream. Usually what happens at the main library in our children's department, we would have this wonderful performance by Mr. Means, and he would come in and do a one-man show on about the real person that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was. And this is a great performance, and what is wonderful about it, it's going to be available from January 18th all the way to Friday the 22nd. And what you have to do is you just have to register here, and it is appropriate for anyone that is in grades 3 through 8. And what will happen is right before when you register, you will get you'll receive a link to the on-demand video that you can view anytime from January 18th to the 22nd. The links will be sent starting January the 18th within 24 hours of registration, and registration ends on January the 21st. So definitely check that out. I think this is a great opportunity. Obviously, the kids are off school on Monday, so this would be a great time to gather those kids up, especially in grades 3 through 8, and just sit and enjoy this performance together as a family. So definitely check that out. Obviously, there's other things that are going on around the whole community on January the 18th. And of course, right here at we are very lucky to have the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center right there, just blocks away from the main library. They are doing a celebration. Now, this celebration is virtual and it does have a cost to it. However, their King Legacy Youth Summit is happening on Saturday, and that cost is free, and that's from 3 to 4:30, and this is going to be via Zoom, so that's going to be a virtual thing as well, and you just have to register there. And we provided a link to get to the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center. And if you've never been to that museum, that is a wonderful museum to go to, and definitely engage there. The other big organization that always does great things right around for MLK Day is MLK Coalition.org. And they're the ones who put together a variety of different activities. And I'm going to click on here. And they're going to do, of course, the King Legacy celebration. These are activities that are happening from 9 to 5, and you can check that out. But they're also going to do the annual march, and they've done it for 46 years, and it starts at 10:30 at the Freedom Center. And this year there's a couple of options. You can actually march but be socially distanced, and of course wear a mask and all that. But you can also join the motorcade. They're going to actually have a motorcade, and you want to register by clicking the motorcade button here. And then they're actually going to start the actual march with the people at 10:15. And there's even a Ride the Rosa Parks bus, and that seating is limited, and you can register for the bus right here as well. And then they're going to end the day celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. With this music called Virtual Commemorative Program. And that's totally free. And it is going to be, you're going to be able to come back to this website, the MLK Coalition.org, and they will have a link to this. And they have some great singers that are going to be participating like they usually do. There's going to be a keynote speaker. And it looks like a great event. Let me go back one page just to click on that. There's a video right here about the march, and you might want to check that out. Okay, so those are all the things that are happening in the library, and definitely in the community. Don't forget that the library will be closed on March. It will be closed on January the 18th, and we want to make sure that you realize that. And I'm going to click out now and tell you a couple more things before we finish. All right. All right. That is a whole bunch of things that center around the wonderful celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We have a lot of materials, a lot of books, some videos that you can stream right there into your own home. And of course, there's things that are happening around the community. First, starting with the Youth Summit for King's Legacy down there at the Underground National Railroad Freedom Museum, and that's a virtual event, totally free. Check them out. We've provided a link to their wonderful website. And then, of course, the MLK Coalition.org, another link that we provided for you, that has a whole host of different activities that are happening on Monday, January the 18th. Of course, the library is going to be closed, but you can participate in the parade. You can even be in the motorcade part of the parade, and they still will have that wonderful music event that's happening at Music Hall, but they're going to do it virtually this year, and that's totally free as well. And they will provide the link on mlkcoalition.org later on this weekend, so check that out. And of course, at the library, we are going to be closed, so don't forget on Monday when we usually have our food distribution. That's actually going to take place on January the 19th at 3 o'clock. So if you know anyone that needs that, please make sure they're aware that we are going to be closed on Monday. However, we still are going to provide a wonderful program that I've seen many times, and that is a virtual performance, Martin's Dream. And it usually just takes place right down here at the main library, but this year, anyone can watch it, and not just on Monday, but all through the week, all next week. You will get a link to the performance and you can watch it. And it's with our wonderful partners from the Cincinnati Children's Theater. So check that out. Next week, we're going to talk about everyone's New Year's resolution, it seems like, is not to spend as much money as we have because bills are coming in. We're going to talk a little bit about budgeting and ways that the library can help you with that. All right. Have a wonderful Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Celebrate his life by being kind to other people. And I'll see you next week for Lunch Learn.